Well, Days Gone director ends all hopes of a sequel. And Jeff Ross is the director, obviously, of the Days Gone from Bend Studios. I had a pleasure of chatting with him on Twitter way back then, 2019. Um, it's really sad to hear this news that the Sony corporate decided not to fund this game, even though there has been 250,000 petitions signed by the fans of the game demanding a sequel, and the fact that Sony corporate ignored quarter of a million, quarter of a million people who signed the petition, 250,000. That's a quarter of a million people signing a petition. They decided no. And for the life of me, I will never understand why Sony decided to do this, because that's 250,000 copies right there you could sell. That's a quarter of a million copies you could sell right out the gate on the day one. So you're already going to make your money. But anyway, this is by GameRant. Let's read this, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it after we read this. This is by GameRant, provided by GameRant. It's on Microsoft Start. It's Days Gone director ends all hope of a sequel. That's the name of the title. So Jeff Ross is the director, game director of Days Gone from Bend Studios in Oregon. And this is what he says regarding Days Gone sequel. And all the rumors regarding Days Gone sequel, he wants to put the rumors to rest, because, you know, on the Reddit and on the internet, people put all kinds of stuff out there, and he just wants to kind of clear the air so people understand what's going on regarding Days Gone sequel. Here's what he says. Days Gone director Jeff Ross states that there will never be a sequel due to a lack of interest from Sony Higher Ups. Higher Ups meaning Sony corporate. Despite fan demand, which was 250,000 signatures, a Days Gone 2, it's effectively out of the question, with corporate not in favor of Bend Studios' plans for a follow-up. Even though quarter of a million have signed it, 250,000 have signed it, Sony executive says, nah, we're not doing it. Who are these higher-ups? They don't play video games. These higher-ups are the ones living in, Beverly Hills mansions, living on a Malibu, living in a Palm Beach Island, living in Hawaii, right? Living in these Manhattan big, penthouses next to Central Park. That's who these corporate individuals are, or the ones with the suit, and a tie. All they care about is their fancy cars, their fancy yachts, mistresses, Victoria's Secrets, girls, They don't care about video games. They don't play video games. They only care about numbers, ones and zeros. Right? You've seen the movie Wall Street, right? They just care about ones and zeros. You've seen the Boiler Room. It's all about ones and zeros. So pretty much that's how they act. They're totally disconnected with gaming society. They're totally disconnected with us as gamers, just like the Hollywood executives are totally disconnected with movie fans and what movie fans want to see. Critical Drinker talks about this quite a lot. It's the YouTuber Critical Drinker. Shout out to Critical Drinker. Go check him out. My Scottish friend. So anyway, let's continue reading this segment. Bend Studio is working on a new IP for PlayStation 5, moving away from the zombie franchise. And I'm looking forward to whatever they do next. They're currently working on a new IP, so that's good news. I will most likely 100% be on board with whatever it is that they make next, because I like Jeff. I like Bend Studio. I like what they do. I'm also a huge fan of Siphon Filter and Days Gone. So whatever they do next, man, I'm in. Whatever they release next, I am certainly gonna buy it, play it, and talk about it. Whether it's good or bad doesn't matter, but I will certainly support them. All right, Days Gone director Jeff Ross has announced that sequel to the zombie game will never materialize, despite receiving a mixed response at the time of its release. Days Gone has amassed a considerable fan following over time, periodically sparking rumors of a possible sequel. And of course, we all thought that sequel might happen because 250,000 signatures on a petition to force Sony's hand to make a sequel, and 250,000 signatures, that's 250,000 people. That's a lot of people. You're thinking to yourself, well, Sony can't possibly ignore this. It's 250,000 signatures, 250,000 people signed a petition. Well, there we go. Well, here we are. That tells you how much the corporate cares about you. I think this is truly a wake-up call for all of you out there who are, so dedicated to your brand, right? Praising your brand, whether it's Sony, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Nintendo. Guys, you need to understand that these corporates don't care about you at all. They don't care. I mean, they're going to lie to you like a narcissist that they are. Corporate narcissists, that's what they are. But they don't really care what you want. They don't care what you desire. They only care about ones and zeros. They want a guaranteed money maker. They want guaranteed successful profit. They don't care what it is. They don't care if the game is the worst game of all time, but if it's making money, that's all they care. So you have to remember that, guys, what you're dealing with. You're not dealing with individuals who are like gamers. These corporates sitting out Tokyo or in Europe in Sony, or here in North America, New York, somewhere, LA, Sony, right? They don't care. They just care about their Bentleys, Rolls Royces, their big mansions, their big yachts, their mistresses, their Victoria's Secret girls, rubbing that sun lotion oil on their hairy chests, right? While they're drinking their martinis. That's all they care about. These are the suits. The suits, with the briefcases and big Escalades or big, Yukons and big Chevy Suburbans, driving them in these big SUVs and big limos, taking them to their private jets, and the private jets are flying them here and there. That's essentially what you're looking at. You're not looking at a passionate gamers. These individuals are not connected to us. Okay? Probably they can't even stand us because we're at the lower class. They look at us as we're the lower class. They probably look at us as losers. So that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a corporate that doesn't care. Clearly here, Jeff Ross is telling you they don't care that your voices have been heard, 250,000. They don't care that 250,000 souls have signed. They don't care. They don't care. And that sends a loud and clear message as to how much they care. So don't cry to me about why you're having such a bad state of play the other day. Yeah, why does your state of play stink? It stinks because the corporate stinks it. Because the corporate doesn't care. Corporate doesn't hear you. They don't want to hear you. They just want to see ones and zeros, right? So people need to wake up and realize, look, it's okay if you want to be a fan of a certain brand and you want to support that brand. It's okay if you want to be a fan of a certain, companies out there that you want to support. But man, you also got to be able to criticize them and let your voices be heard. Just like you did with Stellar Blade. You need to let these corporate know, hey, this is a bunch of BS. If you don't make a Days Gone 2, 250,000 of us are going to stop paying for your PlayStation Plus subscription. Imagine if 250,000 of you decides to stop paying for a PlayStation Plus membership. That's 250,000 people dropping down, not subscribing to PlayStation Plus. Imagine what a huge blow that would be for Sony if 250,000 just decides to pull the plug on PlayStation Plus membership. That's a huge blow. That's a huge blow that's going to wake up these suits in their master bedrooms, in their penthouses, right, with their mistresses, where they're going to push aside their mistress and then just pick up the phone. What? No, get out of here. Go. Dress up. Put on some clothes. What? 250,000 just dropped our PlayStation membership? That's pretty much how they would react. And that's how you send a message. You send a message that way to these suits, these corporate suits. You let them know, hey, we want Days Gone 2. Those 250,000 petitions are not for nothing. But unfortunately, see, they don't care. This is what I've been trying to tell people about. This is why I don't understand why you want to be a fanboy. And I don't know what other words to use other than fanboy. Like, why are you a fanboy? You clearly know that these companies don't care about you. They're not writing you a check. They're not paying your house mortgages. They're not paying nothing for you. You are paying for them. And you're paying for them and you get nothing in return. You might as well call yourself a simp at that point. So if you're going to be a fanboy, if you're going to be a Sony fanboy, you need to demand better. If you're going to be an Xbox fanboy, you need to demand better. Don't just defend everything that they do. That's my whole message here. Don't defend everything that Sony does, and don't defend everything and justify everything that Xbox does. This is my only issue with Sony fanboys and Xbox fanboys. Everything that your corporate puts out there, you guys defend. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't defend everything that they put out there. You need to let the corporate know, hey, we are your bloodline. We're the reason why your trademark brand exists in the first place is because of us. We're the one paying money for this. We're the one paying for your membership, paying for your games. We're the one paying for your services. We're the one buying your consoles. So you need to go out there and you need to let your voices be heard, just like you did with Stellar Blade. So unfortunately, that is one of the whole separate issues I have with the whole phrase fanboy, which I don't want to get into right now because that's a whole different separate video I can talk about, okay? What I'm simply saying here is the point and I'm trying to make, the perspective that I want you to see here is that the corporate that you praise so much does not care. Clearly, Jeff just told you. The higher ups, the corporate, doesn't care that 250,000 of you have signed a petition and they still don't care. They still have ignored 250,000 voices. That speaks volumes, man. When you have a corporate ignore 250,000 voices, that speaks volumes. That shows you what they really care about. And what do they care about? Themselves and the money. The money. How much they're going to make. Profits, ones and zeros. So anyway, I don't want to butcher this video any longer. There needs to be. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So we can read the rest of the segment and then we're going to end the video. In 2019, Days Gone rolled out a lukewarm critical reception, significantly owning the various technical issues at launch. The scuppered momentum, together with the game seemingly not turning in a massive profit, meant that Sony wouldn't consider renewing the Bend Studio franchise despite numerous fans demanding Days Gone sequel. In the latest development, the open world game directors has reiterated the unfortunate fate of the franchise. Days Gone ever receiving a prequel or sequel is a pipe dream for dedicated fans, though a prequel in particular would already have the perfect name. On Twitter, Jeff Ross, a former Bend Studio employee who co-directed Days Gone, made a bold statement saying that a sequel to the zombie-centric game will never happen, addressing the speculations surrounding the future of the post-apocalyptic franchise. He shared an image portraying characters from PlayStation Studio games and highlighted the absence of Days Gone character as evidence of Sony lack of interest in the IP. Moreover, he stated that there won't be any mention of the game at a future PlayStation event because key figures at Sony, such as newly appointed co-CEO Herman Holst, were never fans. And this is why I never liked Herman Holst. I was right about him. I was right about Jim Ryan, and I was right about Herman Holst. My God, I hate to be always right. But, I trust my intuition. I trust my instincts. That's why my intuition and instinct, it's connected to the God, it's connected to the universe, and God and universe never lies. It always gives you 100%. And I was right about Herman Holst. I was right about these suits. I was right about Jim Ryan. I was right about Herman Holst. One day someone's gonna go through my YouTube channel, and they're gonna thoroughly do a documentary on my YouTube channel, and they're gonna say, "Damn, man, I might not agree with this guy all the time, and sure, I might not agree with the way he conducts himself here and there, but man, he called it out. He called out a lot of things." With Stadia, with everything else, and cloud gaming, and 2030, 2031 cloud gaming. This guy called it out. This guy called out these suits, these Sony executives, these Xbox executives. This guy called out a lot of things, predicted a lot of things. So, it is what it is, guys. It's unfortunate, but this video is getting too long. It's 16 minutes, almost 17 minutes. So my message to everybody is, it's okay. You want to be a Sony fanboy. Be a Sony fanboy. But you got to be able to speak out. You got to be able to criticize your brand when it makes these stupid decisions like this. You got to be able to let them know that you're not okay with this. You got to speak out. You can't defend every decision. You can't justify every decision that Sony makes. For the same reason, the Xbox fanboys shouldn't defend every decision that the Phil Spencer makes and that the Microsoft corporate makes by shutting down those studios. Right? You could be a fan of your brand, but don't defend and justify everything that they do. That's all I'm saying. You can be a fan of your brand, but you got to be able to criticize them when they need to be criticized. And in this case, they need to be criticized. All right. Well, there you have it. So let me know what you guys think. Anyway, God bless you all. Be good. Stay safe. Have a nice weekend. And I'll see you on the live stream. I'll be playing Lord of the Fallen pretty soon today. So I'll see you on the Lords of the Fallen.